Recording.com. All right, everyone. So welcome to our third virtual orientation session this summer. Hopefully you all had a good holiday weekend. I enjoyed hanging out with some of you for the two sessions we had last week, and it looks like this week's going to be another good one. This is our only session for this week. I know it's sad. We'll miss each other until next week, but we'll make it work because today we have two great people who are here with us to talk about the process that everyone's going through from being an accepted student all the way until their first day on the Hill. And to let everyone know how the format of this session is going to work is this is an open session where you have the ability to unmute yourself and you'll have the ability to send messages in the chat that everyone will be able to view. I'll moderate the chat here and bring up any questions that are brought up there, but do know that I am recording the session. And so if you unmute yourself and ask any questions, that will pop up in the recording. So I just want to let you know that in advance, that if you do unmute yourself and bring up a question, it'll be there. Otherwise, you can feel free to send messages in the chat and we'll answer your questions from there. But with that, I have two great colleagues, two great friends who are here to talk to you about the process, make sure everyone has everything marked off on their to-do list for the summer and answer if you have any questions. So with that, I guess I should introduce myself first, not assume that everyone knows. My name is Matthew Zielinski. I'm the Director of New Student and Transition Programs, who will be working with you all summer throughout virtual orientation. And with that, I'll turn it over to one of our two guests, to both of our guests to introduce themselves. First, I'll turn it over to Amy Jo.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Jo. I am an admissions counselor. I worked with a lot of you through the admissions process. So it's nice to have you guys here. I was going to say it's nice to see you, but only one person has their camera on. So it's nice to have all of you here with us today. Like Matt said, we're just kind of here to answer any kind of questions or concerns that you guys might have, but I'll kind of turn it over to Luke to do a little introduction. I will also throw out there, I left my door open to my outside patio and I live right by railroad tracks and a huge train just went by and it's going to happen a lot. So I might have to get up and close the doors here in a little bit, or I'll just mute myself, but go ahead, Luke.
If it makes you feel better, I don't hear a train right now, so I think we're good. Hey everyone, my name's Luke. I'm also an admissions counselor. I think Brody and Alexis are the folks that I've worked with. I don't know if I recognize any other names, but I definitely worked with Brody and Alexis throughout their whole admissions process. But essentially, I work with people from the greater Pittsburgh area. Like Amy Jo, I'm actually a Seton Hill alum. So, we're here to talk to you about all of the steps along the way to becoming a Griffin, but we can answer questions about student life and all of those things too, because you're speaking to two former students who have kind of gone through the process and are now walking you guys through getting from applying to Seton Hill all the way to officially arriving on campus. So for this session, a lot of it's going to be Q&A for you guys to just answer any questions for us, but we can kind of jump right into going through things. Amy Jo, do you want to give them a walkthrough on what the steps are here?
Yeah, absolutely. So now that you guys are committed and deposited with Seton Hill, you all should have received an email on a list of steps that you need to take. So you should have all received new student forms to be completed. That's just basically some general information that you'll be filling out, some basic information on your major, elective classes, just updating personal information, emergency contacts, different things like that. So once that is completed, you will be prompted to take your placement exams. There is an English placement, a math placement, and then some of you, depending on your major, will also have the chemistry placement. So you'll take those placement exams. Med Proctor information, so that's going to be all your medical forms. You should have a login to enter that site. You'll upload all of your medical information as well. We'll need a photo from you for your photo ID. So that would be the next step in the process as well. And then also signing up for virtual orientation, which I'm sure all of you have probably done so now since you're joining us on this link tonight. So the process, a little bit lengthy, you'll have a few steps and different steps to do. Luke, actually, if you wouldn't mind going onto the accepted students page and just copying the link and putting it in the chat box so they have a list of steps. I think it's steps like 1 through 8 that you'll need to complete just to kind of keep a task list in your head for things and steps to be completed. Thanks, Luke. Now, it is extremely important that you guys are getting your placement exams completed. because that will prompt us to make your schedule for the fall semester. Once your fall schedule is created through the registrar's office, they're going to send you a copy of it. And then your academic advisor will also be getting a copy of that, and they will be contacting you over the summer to go over that schedule for you. So I think the number one question we're getting right now is, where do I schedule my classes? So that's actually currently being done and completed for you. And then over the summer, you'll go over all that information with your academic advisor. Once your schedule is completed, the next kind of step is that you will be prompted to put your address. So you guys should be logging in and out of MyShoe probably on a daily basis at this point, checking your Seton Hill email. If anyone hasn't been able to log into MyShoe, you can just let Luke or I know, and we can kind of walk you through the process of getting into MyShoe. You should probably get into the habit of logging in each day and checking your email each day. You'll be getting important updates through your Seton Hill emails instead of your personal emails now at this point. But you'll get a prompt from IT to update your address for where you want your laptop to be shipped. We want to make sure that we have the correct address in our system. Once your schedule's completed and all of your placement exams are completed, you'll then get a prompt on MyShoe when you log in. That's a contract. You'll fill out a contract signing off for your technology. And then as soon as that contract's signed, your laptop will be shipped to you. So the importance of getting your placement exams completed, getting your med proctor information submitted, it's pretty important to get that stuff done so we can get you guys your laptops over the summer and get your schedules made so you can kind of start with that process. But those are the things to kind of look forward to over the next few weeks. All of your admissions counselors should definitely be reaching out to you, not on a daily basis, but on a weekly, monthly basis at this point, just kind of checking in, letting you know what documents we need completed, still in the process. But that's pretty much where we're at this point. We wanted to have this session tonight just to kind of have an open Q&A. If you guys are having questions, concerns, issues with anything, we're definitely here to kind of answer and walk through anything that you guys might need walked through. But this is totally up to you guys now. You can turn your cameras on, you can turn your mics on. This is super casual. You can use the chat box. Matt will kind of be asking questions as chats come through, but totally up to you guys if you have anything for us. And then Luke, if you have anything to add as well.
Yeah. And the couple of things I would add is, whenever Amy Jo says, like, you all have admissions counselors that you can touch base with, I know I only have 2 students, Brody and Alexis, who I work with here, but whenever we say that we're available to you guys, we genuinely mean that. Our sole responsibility at this point in time is to help you guys get acclimated and get into Seton Hill. The goal is to make sure that you're all set for this fall. So I know, Brody, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but Brody sent me an email this morning and said, "Hey, sorry to bother you." And I'm thinking, Brody, you're not bothering me at all. We're like, my job is to make sure that you're getting all of this stuff done, and then we're helping in whatever way we can. So for all of you, like, you all know your admissions counselors at this point in time, use us, but then also use these sessions. Matt and Amy Jo had put together a huge virtual orientation from, obviously the start of last week is, I think, the first week of it, throughout the entire summer for everyone. Obviously it's not ideal. We'd rather be in person, but they've put together some of these awesome virtual sessions. And one thing I've already heard Matt say is a lot of familiar names and faces are in this group who have been in the last couple groups, and that's awesome. Join as many of these as you can. That's the best way to become acclimated to Seton Hill. You're going to start recognizing some of similar names in these groups. That's how you get to know some people earlier on. So these sessions, I know it's a lot to hop on virtually at 6 o'clock at night, whenever summer is right around the corner. But if you're able to hop on, this session's not going to be 3 hours long, right? We're going to be in and out. We're going to answer the questions you guys have, but doing this type of stuff now is really going to be helpful to get acclimated and get adjusted and get ready for Seton Hill. So yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I'd add. And at this point, I think we can just open it up to questions.
Something else too, just to kind of throw in, because I know we're getting a lot of housing questions as well. When will my housing contract come through? When I find out who my roommate is? So once you guys go through the new student form process, our director of resident life will kind of be flagged that you completed the steps necessary And then he will be sending through Resident Life an email to your Seton Hill email address. So that's why it's super, super important. Even if you're a commuter student, just be checking the Seton Hill email each day. But there will be an email in there for you to complete your housing contract and survey. You'll fill out some questions, and then that will kind of give us the opportunity to pair you with a roommate. So I think that's the only other thing that I left out. Also, submitting a photo for your ID. If you haven't done so already, that's another step on that list of things to do.
They are very particular about those photos.
Yes.
We've gotten some really awesome ones, but then it's just like a colorful background and we can't use it. So try to adhere to those requirements for that photo, like a solid background and facing head on.
Yeah, we've got some crazy ones. We had someone submit a photo like on a motorcycle that we like weren't able to use. Someone was in like a field of flowers we weren't able to use. So just make sure you're following the guidelines to make sure we're able to. If we're not able to use it, we'll kind of contact you and let you know that you'll have to resubmit a photo that's usable, or you'll come in.
So they'll hear from you all if their photo didn't quite work. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You'll hear from us, or if it's something that we're not able to use, we'll just have you come in the first week of classes and get your photo taken in the registrar's office. But yeah, senior photos typically are okay to use, just as long as it's like a plain background. With senior photos, we wanted to put on there, use your senior photo because that's probably the easiest thing. We were just worried about what's the word I'm looking for? Like copyright. That's not is that the right word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Photographer has the right to your photo, maybe,
licensing to use the photo. But if you submitted it in and you haven't heard anything back, you should be okay. Just as long as you're following the guidelines of plain background, headshot of your head. It's pretty much. No hat, no sunglasses.
You can tell it's just your parents at your house just taking a photo of you standing in front of a wall in the kitchen or something like that, and that works too. That's just fine.
Yeah, you guys get the blessing of getting to choose this photo. Whenever I came in, I stood in front of a camera and what they took is what they got, and boy, I am not photogenic.
I think it was like 102 degrees, like not even exaggerating, the day of my orientation when I got my picture taken, and my hair was just like plaster to my face. It was absolutely awful. And that is the picture that's still on there so many years later. So I'm gonna have to go in there and ask them to retake it for me one of these days. But yeah, you guys are lucky you get to submit in your own photo. Does anybody have any questions for us on if they're confused on anything that needs to be submitted? What's about to happen over the next few months? Does anybody have anything that we can answer for you? You can use the chat box. You can unmute yourself. You can send us a carrier pigeon, smoke signals, whatever works. I don't really have anything else to add, Luke. I don't know if you have anything, or Matt, if you have anything that you want to add.
No, I mean, I think it was helpful. You mentioned that the big questions you've been getting so far have been around the class schedules, which they'll be notified. You mentioned that. And then the mailing of the laptop, I know, is something really important that everyone wants to get right. And then the other things that we know, if you received your packet in the mail, there was some information in there too. And so with that, you received the little piece there that talks about the process for getting your laptop. There was a postcard in there that mentioned to everyone, the next step after virtual orientation is really welcome weekend. So making sure to save the date for the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd in August. Those will be full days, whether you're a resident or commuter. We'll have a full day of events scheduled for you. We're really looking forward to Welcome Weekend this year because our Welcome Weekend in 2021 had to be a little bit adjusted for social distancing. But as things continue to progress, we're really looking forward to having a fully open Welcome Weekend, a great way for you to meet a lot of people. And then the other postcard listed the process here of important dates for if you are going to be a student on campus. So again, the housing application and roommate groups are due, and then the room and roommate information goes out. So a lot of that will come out to you in July. But I feel like those are the big questions. So then, is there a separate checklist for master students?
Kevin, I apologize. I did not know we had a graduate student on with us. So I can actually get you in contact with your counselor through the graduate level office, and they'll be able to let you know everything that you might need for grad school. So I'm currently in the grad program. I know Luke just went through the grad program, so we could probably answer some questions, but I'm not sure exactly if they have a specific checklist of things that you need to get completed. So I have your information down already, and I'll send you an email right after this so you know who to contact for that information. Sorry, I know that doesn't really help right now, but we'll definitely get you the answers that you need by tomorrow. So you can check in with them. But does anybody have like specific questions if they think they might be missing something that we can check for you? Each like student profile has a checklist of things that they have completed, they still need. So if you're having questions on, I don't know if I actually submitted this, can you just check for me? We can also do that as well. But if not, I mean, you guys are pretty much free to go if you don't have any specific questions or concerns. But if you do want to hang tight, if you have to check in on if you are missing anything, definitely stay on, and Luke and I can kind of dive in and see what you're still missing, what needs submitted, and different things like that.
Yeah, I'll make a little announcement here, and then I can always stop the recording of the main session. So
Perfect.
if you have like private one-on-one questions, I can turn off the recording and we can do that. Because for me, unless there are general questions that you want to ask of the group, the last thing I was really going to mention is like I said at the beginning, this is the last virtual orientation session for this week. We pick up next week on the 9th with understanding financial aid. So we'll have our vice president for enrollment management talking about the financial aid process and everything that goes into that. Again, if you or your family members have any questions, particularly about financial aid, that's a great session for that one. You know, we really encourage families to join. And then we'll end next week on Friday the 11th with our first of 2 trivia nights. So how that will work on Friday the 11th, the trivia nights are a little bit later. So that's going to be 8 o'clock on Friday night, but that'll be a really fun Kahoot game. And so if you haven't used Kahoot before, we'll zoom in if you have some type of device, and then you'll want to have a second device to be able to answer trivia questions. If you're using your laptop, you can have 2 different tabs open, or else some people will use their phone to answer their questions and they'll zoom in through their laptop. But that's what we'll do on Friday the 11th. We'll play a Kahoot game with trivia about Seton Hill. It's all going to be Seton Hill related, and it's all right if you don't know it, but there will be prizes to the top 3 winners for the Kahoot on trivia night. You will get a bookstore gift card to Barnes & Noble, which works for our bookstore. So if you want to start to help pay for those books, join us for trivia night on Friday, and we'll have some fun next Friday. But otherwise with that, did we have any questions pop up while I was in there?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just wondering, with the honors program, I have a roommate that I was talking to and that we decided we wanted to room together. How is that going to work if we like choose? I know we have about like 6 of us in total. Is that right? So how will that work? Will we be able to choose our other roommates also, or is that completely different?
You should just be able to put on your housing survey contract. If you have a roommate already, you can just write it in there, and they try as best as they can to match you up with that. As far as like the whole suite, I'm not 100% sure. Matt, you could probably answer that better than I can, but I'm not sure how it would work for like an entire suite.
Yeah, not everyone always knows who they want to room with, whether they know someone else who is joining them. And so when you're thinking of even a pair, that doesn't always happen, and that's fine. We have a great system of being able to pair people up. And so similar, if you happen to be moving into an honor suite, which again isn't the majority of first-year students, so go you. It's not likely that you're going to know that many people to be able to room with. So absolutely, let us know if you have someone you'd like to room with. Otherwise, Residence Life has a magic system behind the scenes that they pair everyone up, and then that's when you'll know everything in July. Great question.
Thank you.
I just want to bring up 2 questions that came through the chat box as well, in case anyone else didn't see them. Alexis asked if there was a form to submit for Med Proctor. So you should be able just to log right into the Med Proctor site, and there will be information that you can download, send to your doctor for them to complete, and then you'll upload it back into Med Proctor. If there's anything missing, you'll be kind of flagged, and it will send you a notification that this is still the information that's missing that you need to submit in. So you'll have like a little dashboard area that you can look into. From our end, we are not able to see specifics of what you're actually missing from Med Proctor. It just shows us you either haven't started it, you started it and it's not completed, or it's completed. So that's kind of what we get to see on our end. If you're having specific questions, we can always connect you to health services and they'll be able to answer if there's anything that you're missing with that. Hannah asked a great question about there were a few different move-in dates that was and information that was sent to you resident students. So will you know which day to come to campus? So further on in the summer, once you're actually assigned to your room, you will get information on which day you'll need to be on campus to move in. So they'll send you all the actual move-in information come closer to the date, but you'll know ahead of time. I know a lot of you are trying to plan vacations and trying to guess when will I have to be on campus. So just again, very, very important that you're checking your Seton Hill email, because that's where a lot of the information is going to be sent to. Just make sure you're checking that email and you'll have more of those specifics come later here in the summer.
With that too, I'll resort back to the card that we sent. So again, anything that was sent in the mailer, and if you haven't got the mailer yet, it's definitely out there, but this is another great thing to put on your fridge or on the back side of it, important dates. And this is all, again, residence related, where again, it's talking about the housing application roommates due by June 30th. July 6th is when you'll get the information about your room and roommate. Then from there, July 21st is when you should know your move-in day and time. That is when it'll be sent from Residence Life in your Seton Hill email. And it mentions there that the new move-in days will be Thursday the 19th and Friday the 20th. So how that'll work is on July 21st, you'll know when you're moving in, and they will give you a specific window of time. Move-in is going to happen all day on Thursday the 19th, normally from about 8 a.m. to about 5. Don't quote me there, but you'll have your specific move-in time. And then move-in on Friday will only happen up until noon, because welcome weekend starts at 2 o'clock on Friday. So you'll have your specific move-in time by July 21st to let you know. And then commuter students who aren't moving in, that's where we'll let you know when you can have a check-in window. So there's no point in you coming in early on Friday and then just sitting around. So commuter students, you'll normally come and check in between noon and 1 on Friday, because welcome weekend starts at 2 and we want you to be all checked in. So that sort of gives you more information that you even know you have this on hand. You can put on your fridge to answer that question. I know there was another one that came in, Amy Jo.
Yeah, so Megan just asked, she already completed placement exams, switched her major, not sure if she needs to take the Chem 1 or not. So you should be automatically notified if you do need to take the Chem placement, but I have a note, I'll look into your file and see what your new major is and if you'll have to take it. And then if you do, I'll send you the link and you should be able just to log in and take the Chem placement. So no worries, that we'll follow up with you and make sure that that's taken care of. Great question so far. Does anybody have anything else they can think of? No? All right, you guys are free to go. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you want to stay on, if you have any specific questions, definitely stay on and we can kind of pull your file up and see what you're missing and what you still need to submit. But other than that, you guys are free to go. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be seeing you over the next few weeks here.
All right. Have a good week, everyone.